check and make sure everything is a-okay. Okay, that's live. All right. We are returning with another solo story with our Grey Elf Conjurer, Elred. Last time we began our journey, we had Elred sail into Wakeport and come upon a series of rat attacks. He investigated, talked to the local vicar about what was going down, and upon his investigation, found some clues that hinted towards the Baron being, or the prior Count, being quite lecherous. This investigation led him eventually to seek where the rats were coming from below the town into the sewers, finding the Rat King, as we have dubbed him. There was some talk of treaties. Eventually, the Rat King was slain, perhaps by our hero somewhat, for he knocked unconscious all of his rat subjects. But the final blow was struck by a guardsman named Boris. The then successful Elred was appointed the court wizard, or magi, as we call it in these lands, of Wakeport. And I think we will zoom into game with Elred kind of waking up in his new quarters directly outside of the keep, but within the walls of the establishment there. His small little shack. You awaken, Elred.
Alright, first thing I want to do, hi guys, for those who are watching the stream and or the YouTube video. Anyways, yeah, first thing I want to do is actually want to, believe I learned the identify spell last time.
I do not believe, did we do... I will have written it down, most likely. And if I did not, we can solve that pretty simply. Let's see my notes. I didn't write down that you learned any of them. I don't remember if you did, but it only takes D2 days, so if you spend those days, we will be fine. Let's see, what is your last roll in Roll20? Let's make sure, actually. Scroll way up. Older. I'm just looking for your last roll, because if it's a D100, I think we know that you tried to learn the spell, Elred. I rolled some...
Identify.
I don't see any D100s in your list, so I do not think you rolled the learn... Oh, wait, here's one. What was this for, though? Do you remember if you learned it?
I learned a spell, and I believe identify was the first one I learned, because I wanted to know what the ring did.
Yes. Well, so be it. You can have identify. I will try to write that down in the future. Given that I haven't, I will believe you that you learned identify. So you have identify in your spellbook, then. Congratulations.
All right. First things first, I'm going to... Oh, no.
It's a very expensive component for that spell.
Yes, I actually remember why I didn't. I might have not learned it because it was expensive. But I did learn the spell, right?
We'll just roll a D2 for how many days it took of spell research. Can you give me a D2 real quick, just so we have that on record? How many days it took? Add that to the ticker. Took 1 day, so we are on that day. There we go. Okay. So you have the spell Identify. You do not have the required materials. But you do want to get your bow back from the sewers, and you also have the outstanding request from the steward, and by extension the count, to investigate the elves and make contact with them and get them to stop harassing woodsmen. Those are the 2 things on the agenda.
All right. So, I believe the first guard that helped me is still sick / unconscious.
Yes, Mikey is still resting after your fight.
All right. Then I'm going to try to go find Boris.
Okay. You go looking for Boris, and eventually, after asking around in town, you find that Boris is relaxing at the Seaman Shore, the local inn. As you ask around, though, a couple of the common folk you talk to reference how, did you hear Boris? He fought the Rat King with the wizard. And then they're like, oh, you're the wizard. Right, and then they talk about how he's a hero. He's a little bit of a local folklore here.
That's nice.
Yes. And you go to the Seaman Shore, and he is there, drinking and regaling his story to a variety of folks in the tavern. Looks like a couple travelers, probably some locals. You hear him declaring how, and I shaft my spear through his face, killing the disgusting creature that lay beneath the sewers.
I walk slowly towards Boris.
All right, you walk slowly towards him. He peers at you as you enter, but doesn't stop his storytelling.
I just smile and sit down and wait for him to finish his telling his story.
Okay. Eventually he finishes. You hear him talk about how we quickly fled as the wizard had bespelled many of the rats, and they would soon awaken from their magical slumber. And then he regales about how he was rewarded for his efforts by being commandeered and given a week of leave. And he eventually quiets down and comes over to you and sits across the table from you, still ale in hand, takes a big swig and goes, "You got business with me, wizard?"
Yes, I do, actually. I need your help once again. We're not fighting anything. At least I hope not.
With?
We're going back into the sewer.
How much you paying me?
Nothing.
Why would I do it for free? I'm on leave.
Yeah, I'm asking a favor.
And what kind of returns can I get on that favor? You gonna bewitch a beautiful man or woman for me?
No, that's very strange that you would ask that. Alright, note to self, Boris is a rapist. Okay, Boris. I just need help retrieving some of my items. That's all.
I mean, what do I get out of the favor? What do I get from a wizard like you?
My thanks and gratitude.
How much is that worth at the tavern?
It might not be worth much at the tavern, but it might be a little something, at the court. I mean, you heard about my recent promotion, haven't you?
I have. But you see here, buddy, I'm in quite good standing as well. I am just as much Slayer of the Rat King as you are Slayer of the Rats.
I'm the Magi. That's an official position, and you are a guard on leave.
Look, all I'm saying is coin would be expected here. You're gonna have to give me a charisma
I understand
check.
that,
You're gonna want to.
but I haven't been paid yet. So you see, like, um, that's on hold for now. But I'll pay you back. It's not. I don't have an issue with paying you. I just don't have the money yet.
So be it. I believe you're good for it. If you'll pay me, say, a gold for a day of service, I can expect that when you receive your ever elusive money.
Yeah. Of course. I don't. Again, like, I don't have an issue paying you. I'm not going anyway since I have a job here. So yeah, I'm good for it.
So be it. He
All right, let's go.
picks up his spear, takes a one last swig of his ale, and follows you out.
Okay. Get to the sewer, and I'll go back to the Rat King layer. You said that there was you said that there was a pile of like trinkets and stuff that he had, right?
Mostly a pile of refuse, but you were having a hard time distinguishing the combat. You go down to the sewers, you take a left. Do you have all your gear on you, out of curiosity, or is anything back at your house?
No, except for I would say, yeah, I have all my gear on me.
And you have a color spray and a mount memorized, if I remember your spell listing. Okay. All right. You descend down the sewers. You take that path to the right as you had before. You then curve to the left. You look at this large chamber, and you walk into this. You see the throne. You don't see any rats as you peer down in here, but you do see that large pile of refuse and other items that your bow is sitting in.
All right. So I'm going to get my bow and ask Boris to just kind of use his spear to move like trash around so I can kind of inspect it a little better.
Okay. You use your spear to push things around. Eventually, you find, picking out of it, about 25 silver coins. And
nice.
Other than that, it is mostly just a pile of refuse. Just garbage. Rat poop. Where is the ring? Do you have it? Have you worn it yet?
No, I have it on me, though.
Okay.
I'm scared of looking like a rat, so I don't know.
I see. You pick up your bow, the silver pieces.
Yeah, my bow is broken because I remember rolling 2 double nat ones. I'm going to ask Boris, hey Boris, do you know a bowyer around here? Or a Fletcher? You know, someone who might be able to fix this?
We got one of those in town.
Right,
shouldn't be too much of a difficulty. Sure, he'll fix it for free. It's an easy fix.
Nice. Can you take him to me, or take me to him?
He takes you to the bowyer. They restring your bow. They nod to you, knowing your station.
I'm gonna ask Boris, can you ride a horse?
I'm sure I'm able to ride one. I'm not very proficient. I ain't no noble.
Okay, this yeah, that's what I ask. So we're going out on a little trip.
So be it. As long as I get my pay.
You will get your pay. In fact, I'll pay you right now, and I'll just take 10 silver pieces and just plop it on in Boris's hand.
Boris pockets them, looking approvingly. He goes, "Alrighty."
Okay. And I believe DM, this is out of character. The Marmon Forest is where the elves are, correct?
That is where you've been told the elves are. Stuart informed you that the woods are home to a tribe of elves that have been harassing local woodsmen. You are to perceivably solve that conflict however you see fit, make contact with them, slay all the elves. I doubt your superiors care very much.
Awesome. So, I go to the gates of Lakeport, and I cast I cast the donkey. I forgot the name of the spell.
Mount.
Yeah, I cast the mount.
You summon your donkey, and it appears. Do you ride it? Do you walk next to it? What is the purpose of this creature?
I'm gonna have Boris ride it.
Boris looks quizzical, but he will ride the donkey. You're paying him.
All right, and I get on the donkey, and I tell him to ride me into the Marmon Forest.
You're riding. Okay, I see why you've summoned the donkey. Okay. So we go a little bit Brokeback Mountain style, I think. Is Boris in the front, or are you in the front?
I'm in the front.
Okay. You both mount the donkey and stride out into the woods. They're pretty thick woods, but the donkey will rest your feet as you walk on and wander. Are you taking any particular direction, or are you just wandering out, hoping to find the elves?
Wandering. Hopefully they find me.
Okay.
I'm asking Boris to keep track of where we are, because I'm not a native to this place, so I'll probably get lost.
Alrighty. He'll try his darndest to. Alright. Here we go. Okay, Freya, please. Sorry, my cat is being very insistent that she gets pet. You gotta go this way. Okay. Ooh. Southumberland. We're looking for this force. Sorry, I gotta find my monster table. There we go. All right. You almost immediately, as you are wandering through these woods, it takes about an hour for you to get really into the thick of the woods here. And as you do, give me a perception check, which is a d20 plus your perception. You're looking for a 21 or greater at least. Please. Oh dear. Zero successes. That's a 7 plus 14, actually, I think would be.
No, I rolled a mark. If you look, I didn't add a plus. It was an equal. Forgot to press.
So be it. Here we go. So you got a 29 on that roll. You spot what you first think to be a horse wandering through these woods, but as you peer a little closer, you can see it is a half horse, half man. You have heard of these creatures. You would know this to be a centaur, although you've only heard of them probably in lore as you were from the mountains. But it is kind of a female centaur walking around. Leather armor, has a spear in hand. As you approach, it peers at you quizzically, cocks its head.
I wave my arm out and I say, "Hail, Mrs. Centaur? Sorry, I don't know what your kind likes to be referred as.
You say that in common?
I don't know Sylvan. So yeah.
It responds, do you know Elven?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Responds in Elven. Hello, Elfkin. What brings you to this forest?
I'm looking for the tribe of elves that reside here.
They are deeper in the woods. If you wish to treat with them, I'm sure they'd be receptive to one of their own kind.
I'm sure they would be. Sorry, what is your name?
Quivik.
Alright, Kvik, nice to meet you. Are you just going about your business, or is there something in particular you're trying to do here?
I am hunting.
Then I'll leave you to it. I'm in sort of a hunt myself.
The female centaur nods. And wanders off. Alright, do you descend deeper into the woods?
Yes, I do.
Okay. You can get about there, so right about here. If you continue all day, so I'll just move your token up to here. And you find it getting darker than it was before as evening starts to come upon you in the woods. Boris looks to you and goes, we staying out here tonight? We better... If we head back now, we'll be walking through the dark, but...
No, it's probably safer to stay out here.
No fire, then?
Fire.
Okay.
Not particularly hiding.
He will go to work setting a fire, not knowing if you are able to or not. You see him pull out a flint and steel out of a nice pocket in his shirt, and he goes to work starting a fire, starts one, and kind of looks around.
Do I know anything about these elves? Like, where do they live? Do they live in the trees? Like, what's going on?
These would probably be high elves. It'd be very strange for them to be any other kind of elf. And high elves used to have very long lifespans, but have been ever decreasing in their number of years they're able to live since they descended from wood elves. You know it has... Go ahead.
Are high elves and wood elves the same thing?
No. They're different.
Okay.
The wood elves tend to only reside, I'll pull you, on this continent in great number. This is their cities, this is where they live. Up here in, I'll just call it Yen, for lack of saying the whole thing right now, they have these things called mother trees, which they live under, and it is rumored that those trees give them their long lives. You are not connected to mother trees in the same way. Your long lifespan results from a different kind of elven lineage. Just giving a history of the elves at this point, there are also strange, I don't know if you've ever heard tales of Nordic elves, but up in Peak, there are a group of elves called snow elves, and they are very, very strange. Their city of Peak is very hard to find. They specialize in illusions, and are usually displaced when you see them, and they tend to collect a lot of blood sacrifices from local human populaces that live in the Coldwood. So they're a much more darker elf. Other than that, there are the high elves that you are going to meet who they tend to reside in woodland areas, but they're ostracized from most of society, being seen as very strange and fey folk-like. They usually live in tree houses. They're cousins to the west. The wood elves tend to have an ability to shape the wood. You would know high elves do not have that ability, and they tend to build homes in the woods, either in tree houses, or just in tents, or what other kind of buildings they can erect in woodland areas, usually within human lands.
Okay.
There are also some elves that live underground, but you would not have probably learned about them. They're pretty taboo to talk about. Although they're not drow, just to be clear.
Okay.
Okay. So you go to rest. Do you take watch? Do you have Boris take watch, out of curiosity?
I'll have Boris take the first watch while I meditate.
Okay.
In my trance thing.
You settle down by a small river. Now, Boris looks to you and goes, almost immediately as you're about to go to bed, he goes, "Just so you know, Elred, I spotted a crocodile in the river around here. Probably stick to its territory, but I thought you should know."
Crocodiles in the forest? Is that a thing?
Small river crocodile. He nods. He goes, "They probably came down from Monthoris. From the is it the Blessed Blue? Yeah, the Blessed Blue."
Okay. I have an idea. I just move my mount closer to the river.
Okay.
And then
closer.
Yeah, and then I sit, where the fire is, and I say, well, if a crocodile does attack, hopefully it attacks a mount first, and then we get some warning.
Are you moving it with the intention for it to grab the mount almost immediately? Like, are you moving it right next to the river, or just between you and the river? Is that the...
Right next to the river.
Okay, so it's gonna...
Yeah, the intention is that if it does attack, it's gonna attack the mount first.
Okay.
And then we'll have warning.
Do you immediately go to bed then, or do you stay up in expectation that it's going to attack the...
I go to bed.
Okay, you go to bed. Okay. You're undisturbed eventually. About probably 4 hours later, you're awoken by Boris. Your turn. You do need 8 hours to get spells. So I don't know how you want to play that, but...
I don't want spells.
You don't want spells?
I would say, yeah, I could do 4 hours, then Boris takes, I don't know, 4. And I just, rest again.
Okay, so you're going to go back to sleep afterwards. That's cool. So you take 4 hours of watch, Boris takes 4 hours, and then you take another 4 hours. It ends up being late into the morning by the time you get up again, but your rest is relatively undisturbed. And what do you do?
If I remember correctly, there were issues with the Wakeport people trying to get lumber.
Yes. Wood camps generally have been having trouble being established.
I'll ask Boris if he know where the uh, wood camps were attempted to be placed, and we will search there, see if there are any else still around.
There's one closer to town. Could take you there. Shouldn't take too long.
We should go there.
All right. You and Boris take off towards the wood camp. Oh, that's interesting. Alrighty. You are walking through the woods towards this camp. You make it here. He says the camp is right about here. And you do not make it. Oh, dear. Before, I need a perception check once again as you give me your d20 plus 14. You got a 21. That is a success. As you're walking through the woods, you spot above your head in the pines above a large beetle that looks to be about 4 feet long, kind of just peering down at you. It's got these large little pincers that sit in front of its face. Otherwise, it looks just like a very, very large beetle. If you've ever seen a beetle. Peers down at you and Boris. Kind of clicking.
How big is this beetle? Like the size of a dog?
Yeah, roughly. It's a little wider, you know. Its width is comparable to that of probably a large pig. But otherwise, yes, it is roughly dog-sized. It clicks.
Boris, what do you think?
Boris peers up at it. Sometimes they attack, sometimes they sit and wait. Depends on if they've had a corpse recently or not.
Can they outrun us?
From what I understand, they're slower than us. Though they move through the trees. They do have a rather devastating attack with acid, from what I understand.
Ooh, okay.
We could try and go around.
Yes, we should.
Okay. You walk away from the beetle, taking your distance from where it's perched in a tree. It doesn't bother you. Boris regales you of a couple stories of travelers who were dissolved by its acid spit. Other than that, most people tend to not get attacked by them, as they are mostly scavengers, unless they are very hungry. So. He leads you through the forest, and eventually you get to this camp. As you arrive there, you see a couple of buildings that were kind of rushed together. You see many tents, and in the middle of this camp, you see an elven figure kind of just standing there, bow in hand. It is a woman who is quite slender. She appears to be maybe around your age, so 100, 150, 160, somewhere in the young elven years. She peers at you. Young for you, probably old for her, given their lifespans.
I slowly walk towards her and greet her. Waving my hand, I just say hello in Elven.
She nods and says, "Hello," responding in Elven. "Welcome."
I am. I was passing through Wakeport, the human city, and I heard that you have pushed them back from, from taking these trees down, right? Setting up a lumber camp. Is there a particular reason why?
They've slaughtered our people time and time again. Maybe not these humans, but the humans before them. These woods are one of the few places we remain. They encroach further by the day with their lumber camps, hoping to get some of the old wood. We would save these trees for ourselves, as we know these woods and use them for different purposes.
How much is your tribe? And how many people?
You associate with humans.
Yes, I do.
Do you
Very
work for them?
briefly. I've only met them for a couple days.
You are not of... She peers at you. You are not a high elf.
Nope, I am not. I'm a gray elf.
Cousins from the mountains looking down on us. She ponders.
I'd like to speak to whoever is in charge of your tribe. Like, perhaps they have a chief.
We have an elder.
I'd like to speak to them on behalf of the humans.
He must stay here. We cannot have
Okay.
him knowing our home.
I'm fine with that. Boris, are you fine with that?
He shrugs. Camp should be safe. Creatures tend to stray from such places.
All right. Okay, he stays.
So be it. They will lead you further into the woods. I assume you follow suit?
Of course.
It takes about 30 minutes or so, but eventually you come to a location where you see a variety of rope ladders hanging from very, very tall oak trees. And she points upward. She goes, "The elder is up here." Above you are various tree houses, interconnected.
All right. I get to climbing and eventually try to reach one of the tree houses.
Okay. You climb up, and you get to the top of a treehouse. Before you, as you enter this house-shaped structure, you see a variety of what you'd perceive to probably be alchemic instruments, and a couple of bookshelves and a sitting chair where an elven male in long white robes peers at you as you enter. He's got kind of jet black hair. He's very handsome looking. Probably a bit younger than you, by maybe 50 or so years. Peers up at you. Hail.
Hail, I am Alred, the Shaper. And I'm assuming you're the elder of this.
I am not. I am Loken, the Enchanter.
Logan the Enchanter, nice to meet you.
He looks to you, looks to his book, sets it closed, kind of like stretches a bit, stands up. You're here to see the elder then, Alessandra.
Yes, Elder Alessandra. I am trying to understand the situation between you and the town of Lakeport. More so like the lumber.
You would be wise to tread carefully with her, for she understands what it is to lose something. And when you've experienced loss, you're not afraid to do what is necessary. Do you catch my meaning?
I understand, but due to the nature of my business, I don't think I can be careful. I see like it would probably be best not to broach the subject, but I don't think there's much delicacy I could, it's a delicacy, but yeah, I can't handle this matter in a delicate fashion.
And you are a wizard. You said Shaper.
Yes.
Are you a conjurer? I don't think you're a necromancer based on you not being covered in bones.
I am not. I'm a
Viscera.
Necromancy is not something I want to be practicing. Seems very evil.
True, very true. It is in opposition to my school of magic, and I would hope it is in opposition to yours as well, but you can never be too sure. Whether it be through restriction of study or restriction of conviction. You may meet with Alessandra, but you cannot go as you are now. I have a concoction you must consume, and then you cannot peer upon her, for to do so would be dangerous to you.
What? So if I'm understanding this correctly, I have to drink something, right? And then on top of that, I can't look at her.
Yes, it is a sleeping potion, if I'm being honest. I cannot allow you to enter her grove without being unconscious. And once you're there, you can go unblinded if you so choose, but I would not advise it for your own sake.
Oh. I understand secrecy somewhat. Sure. No guts, no glory.
He hands you a sleeping potion. You're not sure which it is. It's a vial full of liquid. He nods to you. Do you drink?
I'm confused. Oh, out of character.
Yes.
Um, I thought elves were immune to sleep by.
They have a 90% resistance to enchantment and charm, which includes sleep spells. If you were to resist this, you would get that resistance. So we'd roll a d100, and if you roll below a 90 or at a 90, you would not fall asleep. But you can always choose to fail a spell effect or a potion effect or potus effect.
Right. All right. I like this. Right. This is like 3 tests in 1. So, I'm going to drink the potion, or potus, or whatever it is.
All right. You drink it. You do not resist.
I do not.
All right. You fall asleep. Give me just a second. Clicking some buttons. All right. As you drift off into restfulness, it is a very unusual feeling. You have to resist every urge not to let it happen. And you begin to fall into the miasma, and you begin to start having a dream. This is a very strange dream, probably very unfamiliar to you. You see a period of events spanning hundreds of years. It's more of a feeling than actually seeing everything, but you feel the pain of the elves as they've gone through this long, the high elves specifically, as they've gone through this long period of time. They were separated from their trees that gave them their longevity of thousands of years, and now they've been reduced to mere hundreds, like a half-elf would be. And over this period of time, they've been kicked out and ostracized from almost every community they've been in. And in these woods, they've had consistent battles with humans of past ages. They remember them very, very deeply in their history. And you are embalmed with this feeling of dread over having to worry about whether the next generation of humans are going to fight you. Fight their people. As you drift out of sleep, you awaken to the sound of a very, very beautiful voice. You are completely blindfolded. She speaks up. Hello, Elred? Shaper? You wish to speak to me?
Yes. Alessandra, I'm assuming.
It is I, Alessandra, elder of the elves, ever tending to my grove.
I would like to know if there's anything the humans can do to earn your favor and be able to get some trees. But here's the Wakeport. I've been sent here on a diplomatic mission. I'm sorry, I have to be so blunt, but you know.
You wish for them to mine our trees. We have things we need out of our range of the forest here. I would seek to open trade with your people, but I must ask something of you.
Okay. I'm all ears.
You will journey with the wizard Loken back to Wakeport. You will lead him below the keep in Wakeport. There you will find an ancient ruin of our people. I will see this ruin made available to Loken, and you may use it as well, and together perhaps you will uncover the secrets there. This is what I require from you.
I see. What exactly is this rune?
It is a place where our kind wrote down their spells. Not on books, but on the very walls below this keep.
Can is there a way to like discern what she's trying to get out of this? Is there like a sort of like, I don't know, is there a hint of like malevolence, like like in this like suggestion?
She generally sounds very benevolent, but benevolence can be for any particular group of people. So is she benevolent for the world? Is she benevolent for these elves? Is she benevolent for the humans somehow? For you? For Loken? There's no way to specifically tell.
Of course, like I'm more trying to, avoid a situation where like, I don't know, like they set up a bomb in like the keep, right?
You're trying to prevent them from blowing something up.
Well, more like having access to do harm to the humans.
I mean, what do you ask? How would you infer this from a conversation with someone?
I simply just asked, like, is this safe for all involved?
It will result in the greatest good.
For whom?
For this world.
Okay. Well, I'll see what I can do. I will go back to Wakeport, and I will ask to for permission to let this cultural exchange occur. You have to understand that the keep is very much like your grove. There should be an air of secrecy, right, for approaching such a place.
Of course. Well, it is a requirement for allowing your lumberjacks, as I hear them called in the human tongue.
I understand. That is I do not have the power to let such actions take place without permission. So I will ask, and I'll see what I can do. I'll get back to you. You understand? You wouldn't want Loken to, um, you know, give access to the most, valuable secrets of this wonderful community of yours, right? Without permission.
I would expect no less, but I require no more.
Of course, I wouldn't ask for it. You've already done me a great service in just speaking to me.
So be it. Drink. And do you feel another POTUS put against your lips?
Nice. I do that.
Okay. Sorry, my cat jumped up. All right, you fall back asleep. You are not placed with the same dreams you had before. Instead, it is pretty much darkness.
What did you say?
You are not plagued with the same dreams you had prior when coming into this place.
I would be shocked if I were, because elves don't usually dream. So the whole experience is strange in the first place.
Yes. And so you are awoken in the same place you were before, right where you came up the ladder. You see Loken once again, sitting in his chair, white robes, jet black hair, handsome features, reading a book. He peers up at you as you awaken. You are unblindfolded.
Well, Loken, I don't know. I'm sure you're aware of the ruins that lie below the keep. Since you are the magic person here, I'm assuming, of course.
I'm a wizard, yes.
Okay, Loken, tell me what these ruins hold.
The ruins hold... I'm sorry, the chat is just saying he's reading 50 Shades of Grey Elf, and I felt that was worth mentioning.
Oh, I didn't even know the chat was going.
Yes, the Twitch chat is. It's mostly Monkey and Durfee, but hey, get what you can. What did you ask? Sorry, I got distracted by the...
I'm just gonna ask him what's in the ruins themselves, right? Like what specifically, is there something that you want out of this, right?
From my understanding, there are hidden magics below that I am interested in. For study. You understand?
I understand. Magic is pretty dangerous. I don't know how the humans will take this. It's a great deal, especially since you've been enemies for generations.
I'm sure we can convince them. If you need some performance-enhancing spells, I do have the Friends spell, if you are familiar with it.
I'm familiar with it. And yeah, I'd actually like to see that if you could give that to me.
It would be best if we did it prior to you speaking to your liege lord.
Yes, it would be best. Is a friends something that I do to myself, or is it something I do to other people?
I can cast friends within a particular range. Doesn't say self. Let me read it again just to make sure I didn't read this wrong. It says the wizard.
Myself?
So I suppose instead of saying he could do it to you, he said I could improve, performance enhance myself. Does to himself, oh my god. To be more pleasant in the eyes of your betters.
Okay, that is great. I wouldn't want you doing anything to someone, lest we get the wrong impression. So yeah, I'll head back, and I will be back within 2 days at the very least.
I would like to accompany you if we are making this deal. If not, let it be so.
Yes, I will come back and get you because I have to get permission first.
I will accompany you to the gates, at least. I would not have you make this journey again.
Okay. Sure.
Your friend Boris, by the way, did not wait for you.
That's fine.
All right, do you head back with Loken in tow?
Yes, I do.
Okay, the journey is peaceful, and you see as you leave the treehouse, it is early morning, which was not the time of day that you arrived here at. But you exit and head back to Wakeport. You see the large town gates, city completely made of wood, probably very flammable unless there's some sort of secret to it. And you enter, eventually make your way to the keep, which is, as I've said, made of stone, unlike the rest of the city. Loken waits outside the city gates unless you allow him to come in. He says, I think this audience would go better if I was there, but if you believe otherwise...
Well, the issue is, you can tag along, for sure. There might be, there might be parts of the conversation where you're not allowed to, like to be an audience, at least initially, because we'd have to. You are a surprise guest, even though you are kind of on a diplomatic mission.
So be
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I will wait here till you get permission, if it's that necessary.
Yes.
He shrugs. Off with you?
Mm-hmm. So I go. So he's waiting outside the keep, right? Like he's there.
Yes.
I tell like the guards like not to bother him because he's really important. Make sure nobody bothers him. This is very, very important. I like stress that.
As you begin to walk away, you do hear Loken trying to speak to anyone around him. Trying to engage them in some kind of conversation. If you stay, you can probably ascertain what they're talking about, but otherwise...
I'm not staying.
Now, do you head to the court to meet Stuart or the Count?
To meet Stuart.
Okay.
I remember what Stuart told me. He said I should talk to him first before going to the Count because the Count hates elves.
Yes. So you enter the Great Hall of the Keep. Why can't Teo just kill all the elves? That is not much easier. That is a much more difficult task, but he could try. You enter the Great Hall. You see the hunchbacked Stuart the Steward, sitting next to the Baron. As he sees you enter, he looks up at you. I assume you give him a assuring nod. And
I give him a thumbs up.
Okay. You give him a thumbs up, and he makes an exit towards that side study that he has. You also see Count Claris Wakewide. He is discussing something with a pair of armored men in the Great Hall, just of note. And you see produced out of his sheath is a yellow-tinted sword. He's very, very fit. Very warrior-esque. But he has this yellow-tinted sword that is glimmering and probably catches your attention. I'm not sure if you've seen it before, but it catches your eye today for sure. And you go to the side study. Stuart sits down, produces a nice cup of tea for the both of you, and peers at you. Well, are the elves subdued?
No.
No.
Even better. They want to make a deal. Peaceful. Like.
What deal?
They are willing to allow you guys to pursue lumber. And they're willing to engage in trade, right? But there is a catch.
What is this catch?
So, glad you asked. Apparently, there's a bit of elf history in the keep itself. Below the keep, there are some ruins that where they want to basically get access to this history. With lots of sort of writings. I believe there's some things that are very significant to them down there.
They wish to enter the keep. How many?
One.
Do you trust that they will do no fey magic in our keep?
Well, now that you say that, the thing that the piece of history that they want is magical in nature.
Is it dangerous? Could we benefit from such a thing?
Well, yes, actually, you can. Because I benefit from it. The Alessandra. I spoke to her, and she said that whatever they get access to over there, I would also have access to, and by default, being your magi, you would have access to.
If you can benefit from it, then the path forward seems clear. We allow the elf into the keep, have him help you uncover whatever secrets are down there. You take his power and that power below, and we strike the elves down.
Wait, you don't want
necessary
trade?
thing.
Wait, you don't want to trade with the elves?
They have only been an inconvenience in the histories that I've read.
Of course, but this is an opportunity to forge a new history, right? Instead of one of, death and destruction, right? You can set a new path for the legacy of the Wakewides as, people of wisdom and diplomacy and all that.
I thought we were on the same page, Elred.
I thought so too.
When we had our interactions with Vicar Jalissa, the local priest of Vilcata, the Mother of Healing, I assumed that you understood what it took to do the hard thing.
This is the hard thing.
The hard thing is what's necessary to preserve our power in Wakeport. If we allow the elves to leave with whatever power is below, then they will have equal or if not greater footing depending on how powerful you are. If we eliminate the threat, take that power and wield it against them, are we not more able to deal with the elves? We come at least from a position of power. If we don't need to slaughter them, then we have the advantage at the very least.
I don't think you understand, right? The elves, as from what I could see, right, just being there, are already in a dominant position. The only reason why Wakeport is not on fire right now, as far as I could tell, is because they don't want to come out of the forest.
This sounds like something I should write the capital to, and we could scourge them once again as we have before.
No, you don't understand. What you did before is literally insane, right? You're committing an act of insanity of trying the same thing over and over again with no result, right?
It seems there is a new measure in the equation. You, Elred, in the magics below.
Exactly. Me, right? The diplomat, not me, the warrior.
You consider yourself a diplomat?
Well, I did go there and talk to their leader, right? Yes, I do consider myself a diplomat.
I would be disappointed if we did not pursue this course of action. For now, I'll let you sit on it. See what the elves truly are. These high elves, they are not like your benevolent and graceful Grey Elf kind. They are dangerous. They take after the Snow Elf cousins, who butcher men and High Elf alike for sacrifices to their dark gods. I would see it that we respect what's going on around us and pay attention to it. And if by the time you've acquired this power, you don't see reason, we'll have another frank discussion. He smiles.
Okay. I will say we should assess the situation and then act on it. If I do believe that the elves will become a threat, I will support you and your willingness to be one more mark in the ongoing history of bloodshed. But
I would hope your loyalties are to Wakeport.
You don't have to hope. It's a guarantee.
So be it.
All right. So we'll sit on it. And then tomorrow I will tell you what I intend, but regardless of what happens of whether my intentions change or not, we will be going down to the ruins.
I'd hope you take much time to consider your options. as there are many paths we can take here. But there is only one that sees Wakeport truly as the center of power in the Manman.
Of course.
He nods. We will make accommodations for this creature. Not in the keep, but in a local inn.
Of course, of course.
We cannot have him here without supervision. You understand?
I understand completely.
And if you find anything interesting down in the... I'm not sure, are they crypts? Where's the entrance to these ruins?
See, that's the thing. I don't know. But the elves are sure that it's there. And, you know, I feel like they would have a better understanding of the past since they tend to live, like, I don't know, twice as long as the average human.
I would hope so. Well, go down there, find your quarry. And on another note, I had thought you requested Mikey to resign from the city guard and be your personal guard, but I hear you requisition Boris, the slayer of the Rat King.
I did.
He's becoming quite popular among the townsfolk. I would stay on Boris's good side, or else perhaps your reputation could suffer.
I understand.
Well?
Alright, well, I will be leaving now.
He nods. Lifts up the big scroll case over his hunchback once again and leads you out into the Great Hall, going once again to take a seat beside his liege lord, who is conversing with those warriors still. Yellow sword now sheathed.
Okay. Alright. So I leave. And do I notice anyone like I don't think I can do this secretly, right? So I am going to try to find Lokar, is his name? Loken. So I'm going to find Loken and explain the situation to him, basically telling him that he's going to have to stay here while I think about our options, but I tell him that, you know, it's pretty much a guarantee that we will be looking at the crypts.
You find as you go to speak to Loken, you can relay all this information to him in private, but he is surrounded by children, and he appears to be telling them stories of the elves. He goes, once we were a great people who had great sky towers built, twisted from the trees that we grace ourselves in now. We did not need to cut them down. Instead, we would shape the wood into magnificent towers of splendor, where we would practice our fey magics in great success. But then, the gods retracted from the world into essences, and we were abandoned to the mother trees, and the mother trees did not take to some of us. He tells that story to the children, and eventually hears what you tell him, and he will shack up at a local inn. Do you have any plans for the rest of the day?
Yes, I do. I'm going to see Vicar, Emil, what's her name? Julissa. I'm going to see Julissa. So many names.
Yes, so many names. I always advise notes if you have difficulty with the names.
It's just like, I'm just bad with names.
Look, I'm not gonna lie, I forgot the Rat King's name, and I forgot to write it down. So, that was a blunder on my part last time. But you got Jalissa correct. That is her name. on my notes at least. You go to see her in the temple. You see the open hands to the temple made of stone, unlike the rest of the building, which is made of wood. Kind of sitting, protruding as pillars outside of it.
I'm making several notes. There's a bunch of people I need to kill now, right? So.
Oh. Going on a murder spree. All right. You meet with the Vicar Jalissa, cleric of Vilcata.
Jalissa, Vilcata, I would like to talk to you so that Vilcata can, enact their will, right? See, I'm trying to resolve a situation where I want all parties to come out alive and happy, and I think Vilcata does that.
Yes, my child, she gives a deep, solemn bow. We do wish to preserve life in any way possible. For the sinners shed blood, the chosen of Vilcata understand that she works to preserve life.
Perfect. Can we talk in private?
She looks around and gestures to a back room of the temple.
All right, Julissa, here's the deal, right? We've worked out a plan with the elves. I'm sure, like, you being a part of the court, you know that the elves have been a problem for quite a while, even preceding the current Wickwide. However, I feel like we've come to a diplomatic breakthrough. They want access to some magic that's below the keep, and they plan on, after getting this magic, trading with the city of Wakeport. However, right, there is an issue. After talking to the steward, he seems to heavily imply that we should betray the elves and kill them and take the magic for ourselves.
Her eyes go wide. I would expect dastardliness from the steward, Stuart. But I did not expect that.
Yes. It's politics, right? Killing happens. Which I'm trying to avoid.
Politics is the death of honor.
I would like to say I believe that, but I don't know. I'm not really a politics person. But I do need allies in the court, so
I do not take court with the Count. He would not have me there. They called me in only for the most crucial of matters when it comes to dealing with undead apparitions or anything that would require severe healing.
I think this is a crucial matter, right? And I think that your expertise, if not warranted, could at least be feigned, right? Since you are the only other person besides me, an elf with magic, right? They would probably want a second opinion on this.
I doubt they would bring me in on that, considering you are their magi, and asking for my assistance would likely be frowned upon. If you wish to stop this plot, you must do it yourself. As Vilcata will tell me, I am sure. I will be there in a role of assistance if you need it, though. You have the ear of the court, though.
I don't. I was told explicitly by the steward that the counts won't even have me at court as well. You see the issue here. That's why I came to you.
We will speak then. of the evils of Stuart and what he plans to do. We will get him disbarred from his position through the will and support of the people, for they will flock to our cause, I am sure of it, for it is the righteous way, if we reveal his secrets.
No, that's where you fucked up. People are not good, right? They're dumb.
The children of Velkada, the children of life, will see reason. They will see the righteousness of our path.
You don't understand. You have generations worth of bad blood with elves, right? These elves specifically, right? Like, I know Velkada is merciful, but people are not.
That is the problem. And when they hear the true cruelties that Stuart would put upon these elven folk, they will understand that preserving life is the one option we have. Elred, you have felt her mercy. You have felt her healing rays upon you, have you not? No mortal man could resist such a thing. Not even an elf, who perhaps bends the line of mortality at certain points.
Okay. I will ruminate on this. Alright. I leave and I make a note to myself that everyone's either really stupid or evil, right? So I can't trust anyone. God.
You haven't talked to the Count yet.
But I'm pretty sure that the Count hates elves though, so
He does. That's what you've been told. Or magic, more specifically.
yeah, but elves are like magical in nature.
That is not incorrect.
Going back to the keep, I'm desperate.
Okay. You go back to the keep. What do you do?
I'm going to go talk to the Count.
He's holding audience. You see the warriors have left the Great Hall, but he is talking with a few peasants, taking court. There's a dispute over sheep or something.
In a show of my humble nature, I'm going to wait in line as if I was a peasant.
The most humiliating task, having to wait in line like you're at the DMV. The most humbling of things. You should get pictures for these other characters. If only I could afford such a abundance. To describe the Vicar Jalissa, she's got raven black hair. She's very beautiful, blue eyes. She's about 5'4", and she is in her 30s. The Baron is completely blonde of hair. He's very muscular, roughly in his, let me make sure I'm getting this right, 45. He's roughly 45 years old. Stuart the Steward is bald and kind of looks like wormish and has a very hunched back and is not very good to look at.
This is how you know he's evil, right?
Oh,
he's already ugly, right?
Oh, that's terrible. His deformities have nothing to do with his brutal ways. Maybe he's good, you know.
I read enough fantasy to see where this is going, okay?
You think he's like a worm tongue? Okay. I see. I don't know if you get the Lord of the Rings reference there, but it's there. Although this is not that story. But you bequeath the Baron, sorry, not the Baron, the Count. He looks to you, Count Wakewide, in all of his mighty glory. Kind of, you see him hold his sword a little tighter on his waist as he peers down at you from his throne.
All right. I don't think you would have had time to
Wizard.
Yes. I have seemed to make I've made a breakthrough, right, with the elves.
Stuart frowns.
Oh, he's there?
Yes, he sits beside the Baron, as I described prior,
Um,
with his
I-
giant scroll case.
You know what? Fuck him, right? Yeah, like I've made a breakthrough. I don't know if Stuart has informed you, but I would imagine that he hasn't had time yet, seeing as this is a very recent development.
Speak of the development, please.
So the elves are actually willing to put their history with you behind them and begin trade on one condition.
What condition?
Hear me out here, right? Before you say no, I will warn you, it involves magic.
He starts to frown. Go
Apparently,
on.
there is some magic that exists below the keep, and one elf would like access to it. I will also benefit from this as well.
I would let another Fey folk into my court.
Why not?
Because you are untrustworthy. You have magics that could burn the city down. I have heard tales of your spells, the fireballs and whatnot that you may cast, that could destroy Wakeport if we allowed one of you to do such a thing.
That is true, right? But it's like they're elves; they could destroy Wakeport anyways.
I doubt it, for we would scourge their number, and they know it. But if they were able to get the sneak on us, then we would be caught unprepared, and we would take major casualties. And they know that.
Yes, but I could ascertain that they're more concerned about the preservation of their history, right? Than continuing the bloodshed.
You would have me believe that they are more interested in preserving history than gaining the power to defeat their everlasting enemy, man.
Well, they wouldn't defeat man; they would just defeat you.
He gives a large scowl. Wizard, I would watch your tone with me. Do you know how I got my position here, Count? I served in the war to the north. I fought your kind, the Snow Elves.
Damn, that's crazy. But I'm trying to make sure that you don't go through war again. Like, war is a terrible experience, I'm sure you know, right?
Which is why I don't go kill the elves where they sit.
But that would literally be engaging in war.
That's why I don't do it. I don't wish for war. I am suspect of you, but I do not hate you. And your people. I simply know what you're capable of. I've seen the Snow Elves and their magics, how they glamour themselves from sight to the north of us, in their hidden city of Peak.
Well, the elves I talk to don't like the Snow Elves either, right? From what I could ascertain. So it doesn't seem to be in their nature to be of the same, I don't know.
Yet they have tried to take Wakeport before for their own.
Okay, then, would it be possible for us to have an escort to when we are studying this magic? And if it truly is possibly a danger, I will fight the elf Loken myself, right, along with the help of some of your soldiers.
He peers deeply at you. Give me a charisma check. Yes, there is a lot of elf hate. There is a lot of tension with the elves. There's a long history between the elves and man in this area. 21 is what you were going to go for.
Yeah.
No. You would expose my court to such a thing? How could I trust you with any affairs that involves oversight? No. This will not do. If you wish to study these ruins, so be it. I will not let this elf, but whoever they may be, into my court. 1 is quite enough. 2 will not do. I will see to it that your elf is returned to their land safely.
Okay, but he's the one who knows where the ruins are, so... If
you cannot find them?
I don't have a clue. I didn't even know there were ruins until, like, I heard about it today, right?
But you don't have the magics to locate such a thing? I have heard of wizards being able to decipher ancient text and find their way into these ruins on their own.
Okay, I did not see any hints of that in your last Magi's quarters, unless you have a library of sorts, right?
The
that I can get access to.
Is very large. If you need to do your research, so be it. But we have not had a wizard here in some time. That wizard was my father's, and quite frankly, he was inept and a drunkard. I would not be surprised if he never cared to check the keep for such a thing.
Okay.
Well?
All right. Well, thank you for your audience. I appreciate it. I actually like immediately leave and go to just start searching the keep.
Okay. How do you search the keep? What do you do?
So there are ruins, right? So I'm assuming I'm going to go to the lowest level of the keep and just search.
Those would be the dungeons. You are escorted, though, by a guardsman. You do not get his name, but he has chainmail on, and he is quite beefy compared to most people you know. He's quite strong, appears like. And he will let you into the dungeons. They go down for quite some time. You get down there, it's dark, but you have infravision. The guardsman lights a torch. You hear a couple wails from prisoners, but you see roughly 6 cells aligned evenly across from each other as you enter this dungeon below the keep.
I'm looking for any clues, any like Elvish scripts, like anything, right? Like any even discoloration, right, between like new material versus old material, right, in the dungeon.
Okay. This all looks pretty old. You see the cells look like they have wear and tear. As you get further towards the end, where the last 2 cells are adjacent from one another, you see that they're empty, and they're full of cobwebs, and you looks like no one has been placed in this section of the dungeons for some time. It ends with a stone wall, and there's a little candelabra that is not lit and has no candle on it.
I'm gonna pull on it.
You pull on the candelabra?
Yes.
How?
Hands.
like left, right? Do you pull forward? Do you just like fuck with it until something happens or doesn't happen?
The third option.
Okay. We peer at this gray elf wizard, just like the guardsman staring at you. You pull the candle forward, you push it forward, you move it side to side.
Oh, nothing happens. Well,
Nothing.
I just
Nothing
kinda
as
look
you
up,
pull the candelabra. Give me a dexterity check. And you are looking to, I won't say anything. Just roll your dexterity. You very much succeed. Nothing happens. As you pull on this candle, you wiggle and wiggle on it. It's very strange. Nothing's happening as you pull the candelabra. Maybe that's normal? I think that's normal, actually.
it is very normal. I was I'm upset. I don't feel like I have any options.
Mm.
All right, so I'm gonna go back to Loken, and I will earnestly explain the situation to him.
You go back to find Loken, and you remember that the Count did say he would escort the elf out safely of the city.
Well, I thought he would wait until I was done. Oh shit!
As you go to the inn, it appears he has already been taken away.
Right. God. Yeah. You know what? Fuck it. Right. I'm going to see. Is there like okay? I'm going back to the Magi's like my quarters. Right.
Mm-hmm.
The old Magi quarters. I'm going to like spend all my time that I possibly can. Right.
Okay.
To see if there's any hints of like any ruined magic power in the keep or anything like that, right?
So you just keep like do you like just go like knock on walls? Are you pulling every candelabra? Like what do you?
I'm reading.
Oh, you're reading his books.
Yes.
Okay. There was a cookbook and a couple books on various magics. You begin pouring through them. Late into the night, you begin to feel tired. Do you rest or do you?
No, I don't rest.
You don't rest. You keep reading and reading. You grow very, very weary. I don't know if you ever stayed up like very, very late to read a book, but it will make you tired.
Oh, I already know. I'm tired right now. So.
Oh my lord. So, yeah, you read the books through the night. You get through the 2 books on magic, and you come to the cookbook. Do you continue to read or do you rest?
I'm going to rest.
Okay. You go to sleep. And once again, instead of the usual darkness that you are met with, you have a dream. You dream of that dungeon once again. You hear the prisoners wailing and moaning, the guardsmen behind you. You pulling on that candelabra in frustration, looking at that wall. And you feel a hand kind of creep up your shoulder. It's very dainty and long fingers push. And as they push you, you are pushed through the wall. And on the other side, you see blood. Blood falling kind of down from the walls. From every crevice and corner of these stone walls, you see blood seeping through. And as you continue down, you see elf and human bones strewn throughout the ground. Some of them look fresher than others. Some are just corpses. And as you get to the end of the hall, you see a large basin, and in it is blood. And as you look at it, you take a big swig from it. Cover your face in the blood, and as you look up again, you see spells across the walls, glowing with a magic aura as though you've cast a read magic spell. You look up in bewilderment. In shock, you wake up from your sleep. Kind of fevered, you're sweaty, you feel funny. This is an unusual experience. Generally, you never have had dreams as an elf, but once again, you're met with them as you fall to slumber. You are in your quarters as you awake. What do you do?
How is it?
It is afternoon. You fell asleep early morning.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to the crypt. I mean the dungeon.
You go back to the dungeon.
Then I'm going to do what? I'm going to start pushing at the wall where the candelabra was.
You push on it, and strangely enough, your hand pushes through the solid wall. Do you continue?
Yes, I do.
You push through, and you are met with a hallway. Not one covered with blood and bones, but a stone hallway. And as you look behind you, you can see clearly through the wall that there was no wall there at all, but perhaps some illusion, some kind of magic.
I can't believe, they've owned this place for years and no one touched the wall. This is crazy.
Do you go push on random walls in your basement?
Yes, I do, okay?
That's very strange. There are walls I haven't touched down here in years. But I digress.
I move forward, right? I want this to be done and over with.
Okay, you move forward. And as you move forward, you eventually come to another stone chamber. You see cobwebs and moss strewing from these walls. And you see a large basin. Empty. And beyond it is a large, solid stone door.
Does the basin have any markings or anything I could read?
You look around for words, you do not see any. You see a picture depicted on the right side of the wall. On the right wall, excuse me. It is carved in to the wall with what looks to be hammer and chisel. Most likely, this scene of elves and men fighting through the wood. What do you do?
I lift the basin.
You look at it?
Lift it.
You lift it, it won't pull out. It's connected to a pole on the ground. You could break it if you had enough time, but you are not that strong.
So, in my dream, I drank from the basin, but it was blood.
You did drink blood from the basin.
There was no blood in the hallway. I'm gonna. Oof. I'm gonna inspect the wall. The stone door.
You inspect it. It looks very thick and old. Pull a layer of dust off of it as you touch it. There doesn't look to be any handles. It just looks to be a stone door. You're unsure of how it works.
bite really, like, dig into my thumb, with my nails, and hopefully draw some blood and put it into the basin.
You put it into the basin. Nothing happens.
Oh, I don't want to drink my own blood. It's crazy. Do I need a human sacrifice? What is this? I don't know what to do. Do I remember anything from my dream? Like, specifically?
You remember all of it. You walked down into this dungeon to explore for these ruins with the guard, as you did as you were awake. You pushed through the door as a hand pushed on your back. You walked through the hallway with bodies and blood dripping from the walls. Various skeletons laid out on the ground of elf and man. And as you reached that end chamber, you came to that basin filled with blood, and you drank from it. And as you did, the door opened before you, revealing walls and walls of spells, ancient magics, not held by anyone recently.
I try to drink the blood I put into the basin.
Nothing happens.
Ew, I did that for no reason.
Tastes metallic. It's gross.
I don't know.
I will say, as the DM, I've given you all the pieces of this puzzle.
It's a hard puzzle. So if I'm recalling this correctly, right? In the dream, I got to this place.
Mm-hmm.
There was already blood in the basin, and I drank from the basin.
There was already blood in the basin. And you came in, you saw bodies of elf and man, blood dripping from the walls.
Yeah, this is what I didn't want to. I'm assuming I'm gonna need human blood. I don't want this to happen. All right. Okay, I'm gonna leave.
Okay.
And I'm going to go to Vicar Julissa.
You go to Vicar Julissa. She sits in her temple. She goes, Elred. Her strokes her raven black hair. It's very long and beautiful. She looks at you and goes, you have come. I have been spreading the message of the sins of our steward, the Steward. Steward
Wait,
the
what?
Steward.
No, like,
His
what is
vileness, his disgusting ways, his attempts to murder the elves.
So, like, I assumed that was going to be in confidence, but okay. Yeah, you can make it up for to me. I need your blood.
She looks aghast. You need my blood.
Yes, I do.
For?
Research.
Elred, you understand that when a wizard comes and asks for your blood, the general answer is no.
Yes, but I'm not a general wizard, am I?
No, but you're not telling me what specifically my blood is for, and I will not be handing you any such powerful instrument as the blood of a cleric of Vilcada, unless you give me good reason.
The reason is I can prevent loss of life, like Vilcada would want.
I need further explanation, Elred.
So there's a ritual that requires elf and human blood, and I have elf blood, and you have human blood. You can heal yourself, right? So like you are probably the what's the word? Probably the best person to get blood from, since like you're the least likely to die from like the extraction of it.
That is perhaps correct.
Very correct.
Would you show me where what is this ritual? What ritual?
It's that like the magic I was talking about, like underneath the keep.
Did you find it?
I did.
Show me.
No, you can't keep your mouth shut.
We came to the understanding last time that I would be spreading the evil misdeeds of the steward in order to turn the people against him.
I thought you would be doing so in a much more discreet and, quite frankly, dignified manner.
Need we be shadow people? We are the warriors of the light, the children of Vilkata, goddess of healing. Should we hide in dark corners and whisper, or should we announce proudly our intent? For we are the righteous. Her eyes look with fervor.
I hate religious zealots.
I feel like I portrayed her as a zealot the moment you met her, but...
You did, right? But it's like... God, like, she could be less zealoty.
This is who Vic Jalissa is.
Alright, okay, you know what? Follow me, right?
My inspiration slipped a little bit there. She follows you.
Alright, so I'm gonna lead her towards the keep and to the place where the bull was.
Okay. You lead her down into the dungeons. She looks at you suspiciously as you lead her into the dungeons, but follows. You built some level of trust with her. Even if she's a zealot, you have confessed the evil deeds of another man who she believed to be evil prior. She walks down with you into these dungeons. Do you pass the illusionary wall with her?
Yes, I do.
You pass the illusionary wall. She looks surprised. She goes, Elred, you clever dog. And walks further in. You come to the chamber with a basin and the depiction of elves battling on the right, an empty wall on the left, and a stone door in front of you. And you look to her. She looks to you. She goes, what is this place? Ancient.
I don't know. But what I do know is that you need to cut yourself and put the blood in there. And I point to the basin.
I should do this, Rand. Give me a charisma check.
Wait, what?
This is not for the. She'll cut her hand, potentially. This is for something else. Related. It may prevent certain events. I will say that. Suspicious as I can be.
God, no.
That is a failure. She goes, hold on a moment. I will investigate this ruin more myself. She begins to cast a spell. Do you want to use your spell? Do you have a spellcraft proficiency? I believe you do.
I do, yes.
Okay.
What spell is she casting?
You need to roll an intelligence check to determine as she does it.
Oh,
should not be a failure. If you fail this, I am going to be surprised. She is casting Detect Evil.
I'm going to disrupt her spellcasting.
How? You'd have to physically assault her or do some other thing? My cat is scratching.
Grab her hand while she's performing somatic components. I'm like, no, I believe there are magical traps, and your magic could rebound.
Give me a roll to hit.
What is that? D20.
D20. Yes, you're looking for a 10 or higher just to grab her hand.
Oh my god.
You do not grab her hand. Her spell goes off. She looks at the door in horror. Elred.
Yes.
Beyond this door, I sense a great evil.
How evil? Are we talking about, like,
Overwhelming evil.
So we're talking about salt and pepper on grilled chicken evil. Okay. All right.
We must banish it, Elred. We must open this door. We must destroy what is ever inside this place.
Wait. Now I'm. Okay,
Come.
I'm waffle good. Yes, we will destroy this evil, even though it could be really powerful and help us. Yes.
She holds out her arm against the basin. Looks to you.
All right, I do the same.
Okay, you're the one with the dagger.
All right, I play some emo music and get to cutting. Right.
Okay, you release both of your blood into the basin, and what do you do?
I drink from the basin.
She looks at you with a little bit of disgust, but allows it. And as you drink from the basin, you hear a rumbling as the doors begin to shift open. And into the darkness, you're in for vision. You see a figure kind of peering out back at you. And you hear a, "Welcome, Vicar, Jalissa, and Elred." And we are going to end our session for this week. And we will come back perceivably next week.
God, I released Cthulhu, didn't I?
Did you? Who knows? As a note, for anyone watching who has not seen the series yet, you can find the solo stories on my YouTube channel in the links below and the buttons. If you click the YouTube button, it should send you to the channel. You can also watch our other campaign, which was with a Dino Druid, but maybe changing here in the future. But those are two different solo stories campaigns. This has been our second episode with my friend here, Teo, as his Grey Elf Wizard Elred ventures into maybe something evil, maybe something mysterious. We'll see where he goes with it. It is ultimately his choice as the player, what he does here. But other than that, are you good for next week, Teo, for Monday or Tuesday in the morning, or no?
Yep.
Okay. So, Tuesday? 8 a.m.?
Monday for sure. I know I'm free, so.
Let's do Monday, 8 a.m. then. So we'll be back then. Wednesdays at 5, we will have our other solo stories, and we may be adding another solo campaign. I won't spoil or put someone on the line in case they get busy or anything like that, but that is also for potential here soon, that we may be adding perhaps, I think, a cleric to our roster. But other than that, do you have anything you want to say, Teo, as we end up here? Wrap up? No? I suppose not. I'm not sure if I've lost Teo or what's happened, but...
I said thanks for the session.
You are, either I'm lagging or you on, but thank you for participating. But either way, we'll see you guys next time. And catch us again Wednesday at 5 or Monday at 8 for our 2 campaigns this week. I also may be streaming this weekend, doing some Conquest of Elysium 4, and maybe talking about critical race theory. I have taught a political science unit on critical race theory and other perspectives in regards to international relations, so I think I may have an interesting perspective on talking about it. But we'll see if that happens this weekend. Either way, have a good week and weekend. We'll see you next time. Bye, guys.